Hello, OMG, and welcome back to my channel, where today we have part 4 of my foundation series featuring LA Girls Pro Matte Foundation. So if you want to see how to strategically apply this where your makeup stays the same all throughout the day, then go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into part 4 of my foundation series, where we are featuring LA Girl Pro Matte HD High Definition Long Wear Matte Foundation. Now, this foundation is perfect for oily skin, and here's why. So I pulled up on the website the description so I could better explain to you guys why it is good for oily skin. Also, if you go onto their website, they added a bunch of new shades, which is good. More inclusive, bottom row, they have more shades for more darker skin tones, which is what we like to see, because everybody should have the right to be able to shop for whatever foundation color they want, no matter what the brand is. So I really like to see brands be more inclusive, because honestly, it should be your freedom to pick your foundation color, and you should have that freedom to be able to go onto any brand's website and find your shade. So let's go ahead and read the description. It says, now available in an expanded shade range, our best-selling foundation comes in 10 new colors with more options to love across light, medium, and deep tones. Still can't find your color? Check out Pro.Color Foundation Mixing Pigments, designed to be used with the Pro Matte Foundation formula for infinite options and ultimate control. So that's really cool. I guess if you feel like you can't find your color, they help you find your color. It also says with a soft and suede-like finish, which is very true. I couldn't find the correct word to describe how my skin looks and feels after, but it's like a suede. And I know that's kind of like a weird texture, but it's like a suede. Where did I lose my place? With a soft and suede-like finish, Pro.Matte Foundation will have you covered and shine-free all day. True. Creamy liquid formula provides smooth and buildable coverage for both day and nighttime wear. Very true. It's very buildable. Minimize the appearance of pores and fine lines for an even soft focus effect. It's paraben-free formula with added vitamin E, B5, and sunflower oil. Also, if you want to see how to get this cat eye look, stay tuned for my next upload, because I posted a second video of how to do makeup that looks good with a mask, and I did this cat eye right here. So I do a in-depth tutorial on how to get this look, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But anyways, little backstory on how I picked up this girl. I was at Ulta before the whole lockdown and everything, like way before that, and I was in this one aisle where they have like clearance items, and this one was on clearance. I know it says online that it's 10 bucks, but I think I got it for cheaper, and I was like, okay, cool, a matte foundation, because I think at the time my skin was acting up and she was being oily, so I was like, I need, a matte foundation. So I found this one and I tried it and I loved it. I'm gonna show you why. So like the description says, this is definitely a very soft touch matte suede foundation that blurs out your pores. It doesn't settle into your fine lines, which is very true. I have fine lines right here that show up. I get them here and underneath my eyes, and this doesn't settle into it. And typically matte foundations literally easily settle into fine lines because they're matte. That's just how they work. So we're just gonna take this and pump it out. I'm using just a regular foundation brush. You can use a sponge with this one. It's probably easier to use a sponge, but I just don't want to use a sponge today. I want to use a brush because I already did my eyes, so I want a little bit more of a precise blend underneath. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but I am using the color GLM672 Bisque. Now this one was honestly one of the only ones that they had on clearance, and I don't know if you guys are like me, but I love finding stuff on clearance, and if it's close to my shade, I'll just go ahead and pick it up, and then when I get home, like I'll figure out how to make it work on my skin. Like sometimes I be buying foundations that are either too olive, too peachy, too pink for my skin, but honestly, you could manipulate it and make it work. Always make sure to drag down to your neck so that you make sure you match. But you can see, like, look, I look suede, I look matte, and what's cool about this one is it doesn't dry down as quick. A comparable matte foundation would be Morphe's and Huda Beauty's, and those matte foundations dry down so quick with blending it in. If you're not super quick with blending it in, it does start to look patchy. So I just have to be very careful right here, because I already did my eye makeup, but I can always go back in and fix anything. But yeah, so just showing you guys, like, look, I seriously look like a smooth filter. It's crazy. Honestly, when I bought this foundation on sale, I was like, okay, this is probably like not a good foundation, which is why it's on clearance. They're probably trying to get rid of it. I really thought like God, my hair gets everywhere. I really thought that they were trying to get rid of it, but no, it's actually really good. This is one layer. Like, yo, look at it. Just really, really nice. Really nice. I don't want to put too much on today, so I'm just going to do one more pump. You could build it up for a very full coverage look, and you can do a total. I did 2 pumps in the beginning, so this would be 3 pumps. You can do 4 pumps to get a more like full coverage. But you know, I'm just at the home and I don't think I need all that. So I'm gonna just do one more. So we're just gonna blend this in. See, like, it's super buildable. And honestly, there's no method to really my madness of blending this one in particular in. You can either stroke it like that, you could pat it. I switch off in between patting, stroking, just depends. I wore this foundation yesterday and I didn't wear it with concealer and it still didn't crease. It did not settle into my fine lines. And yesterday was like a look where, you know, like when you're home and you just put on makeup because you want to feel cute, but you don't go like all the way. That's what yesterday's look was when I was at home. And I was just, and honestly, I laid down, I tried to take a nap and like the foundation didn't move, it stayed. Like, I'm telling you guys, if you don't have this foundation and you have oily skin, it's literally only 10 bucks. Like, you have to get this foundation. It is so good. Like, I know I'm pale, but guys, like, I look suede. I look like a soft filter. Like, it's such a damn good foundation. So what's very key when you're putting on a matte foundation is that you don't want to use all matte products. Now, in my foundation series, if you guys go to a specific foundation, I give you like the cool tips and tricks on how to better get a better result out of that foundation, meaning like how to not look like super choppy in terms of your makeup, how to not look blotchy, how to not look patchy, how to make sure that, you know, it doesn't look too dry. When you use a matte foundation, you don't want to use a matte concealer, a matte cream bronzer. Like, you don't want to use all that matte stuff. In my Maybelline one, I did use a matte foundation with the matte bronzer, but that is because that foundation in particular is more of a liquid. This one right here dries down like a suede. It dries down literally like a matte layer, like literally a matte layer. So this one is a little bit more drying than the Maybelline one, so you don't want to use a matte concealer. So with this look, I'm going to be using the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. Just making sure it doesn't say it's matte. I don't think this one is a matte because I've been using it for a while. It's more of like a hydrating concealer. And I'm just gonna just put a little bit because I don't want too much and I'm honestly running out. I seriously need to like make a run because this is seriously running out. And I just like to put that on my forehead. I don't like to put it directly above my brows. Now, you don't want to use a matte concealer because with this foundation in particular, you will literally look super dry because this is a very suede texture and very drying. When you're oily, this is perfect for you because you're literally not going to look oily at all throughout the day. You're going to look super matte. But this, using a hydrating or a non-matte concealer, will just help your makeup not look patchy and spotty and it won't break apart. My fear is if you guys use a super matte concealer like the e.l.f. Cosmetics Camo Concealer, dude, you're gonna look really dry and you don't want that when you're using a matte concealer. Sometimes too much matte, you're gonna end up looking powdery, you're gonna end up looking flaky. Like, I think you guys get the point of me saying, like, do not use all matte products when you're using a matte concealer. That is just, in my experience, my opinion. Maybe other people do, you know, like that look, but I'm just telling you guys, like, at the end of the day, it ends up looking crazy, even middle of the day. So I normally use a matte cream bronzer to contour, to cream contour. But I don't want to use a matte bronzer in particular with this foundation because it's a lot more drying than the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, the matte one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do more of a lighter contour, but then I'm going to darken it up with the powders that I use. I'm going to use this Pretty Vulgar concealer. Now it doesn't look dark at all. It's in the color Undercover. I also got this in a BoxyCharm, but I don't know why they sent me a darker color. Maybe I put in the wrong shade when they asked to do the quiz. But I'm just going to use this to cream contour because this is not, well, it doesn't dry down matte. Let's just make sure. Watch me have like all my information wrong. I've been doing everything weird the whole time, but nah, this isn't a matte concealer. So what I'm going to do is just blend this in, and it gives it like a subtle contour because I'm gonna go in with my powders in particular and do a more heavy contour. But because I still want that like, you know, snatched cream look, I just go in with something light. Just gonna blend this in. You can barely tell, but I mean, it does help. Just blend this part in. So this is how we're looking right now. So now I need to set the face. I'm going to be using the Ciate London Translucent Powder. It's just a coconut setting powder. It does have a coconut smell to it. It's very lightly milled, so it's perfect for a matte foundation. I'm just gonna take this Luxie Duo Fiber Brush and then just lightly pounce it in. It goes on so good. I'm probably gonna have to redo the mascara on the bottom of my eyes because the powders are gonna get in it. My eyelashes are gonna look white. But anyways, I just go ahead and apply this all over, even down to my neck because you wanna make sure you set everything. And then here on my forehead. And I'm just gonna blend it in. I don't really like set, like, I don't really like bake anymore where I just let it sit under there. It's just not my style right now, but I mean, I could go back to that. You never know, I always change my routine. All right, so the next step is bronzer. Now, you don't want to use something that's super mattifying, so I'm going to use my Glamour Bronze Face and Body Bronzer from Morphe. Again, this is my favorite. It goes on like butter. And the reason why I want to use this one is because it does go on like butter, and because this look is super matte, we want to make sure that we're using a product that is easy to blend. There are certain bronzers out there that are super patchy and hard to blend. When you're using a matte foundation, just use a bronzer that you know in particular blends like butter on your skin. I can honestly recommend the Morphe bronzers that'll do that for you. I'm just going to use this big BH Cosmetics brush, and then we're gonna go ahead and powder contour. Now we're gonna be doing mostly powder contour with this look instead of the cream contour because I didn't want to use all of that matte product. If any of you can recommend a like a pro palette or like a another bronzer that isn't matte that I could cream contour with that you guys would recommend for using with matte foundation over or under it. When using matte foundation as your base, comment down below because I would love to know which ones you guys recommend. I was looking at the Pinky Rose one. It's like a pro contouring cream contour palette. I just don't know if I would use all those shades. So I just want to, you know, I'm in the market for something. So if y'all have recommendations, comment down below. So I highly recommend when you are using such a suede matte finish foundation, using a fluffy brush, a big brush to do your bronzer. If you use something smaller like this, it can get a little patchy. So you want to make sure you use a bigger brush. That is one of the biggest tips I can give you because I have made the mistake of using something small like this to put on my bronzer and it ends up looking super freaking patchy and it's not a cute look, y'all. So I highly recommend using a bigger fluffy brush when doing any type of powders, well, any type of bronzing powders on your face when using a matte foundation. And honestly guys, these are just my tips and tricks because I have literally been doing my makeup forever, like literally forever. And I honestly just learn along the way. I do watch, you know, a lot of makeup tutorials, but what I like to do is play with makeup that's good for my skin, and I know that I have both types of skin, so I feel like I know what works with both. Like I don't have just dry skin, I don't have just oily skin. I literally have dry skin during certain seasons, oily skin during certain seasons. In between those seasons, I have combo skin, so I literally have to figure out what works for me and what doesn't. But see how like that looks like butter? Now we just need to contour our nose, so I'm gonna do that real quick using the same bronzer and a Luxie mini tapered brush or mini angle brush. Now I'm just going to take this fluffy brush that I used earlier to put on my translucent powder and just kind of just blend everything seamlessly together, kind of like get rid of any maybe sharp lines. And voila, like seriously, look at the bronzer against this matte foundation. Like I'm telling you guys, like butter. Went on like butter. So the setting spray that you use is also very key when using a matte foundation. I'm going to be using the iconic London Prep Set and Glow Spray because this one is perfect for matte foundation. Let that set in, and then we're pretty much almost done. So I forgot to add blush, so I'm gonna use that same fluffy brush I put on the translucent powder with, and just lightly pat this in. This one's a really good brush to use when using a matte foundation because it just goes on super light. You're not using like you see like the hairs on this one are more fluffier than this type of brush right here, which is another Luxie brush, and it helps to not make anything look like super patchy. So I like to bring my blush up, and then that's it. Now I'm just going to add some highlight, and I'm going to be using the BH Cosmetics Sylvia Gani palette. This is the palette I use to do my eyes, so make sure you look out for that video. I'm going to be using the color Libra, and I'm just going to go ahead and which brush am I going to use? I'm going to use the brush that I used for my bronzer because I just want it to look like skin-like. So I'm going to like pat it in so I can get some type of glow. It's like a little bit of a glow. This is more of like a natural highlight. If you want it to be more blinding, you can totally wet your brush and get away with it and you'll be fine. But that's just not the look I'm going for today. All right, my jewelry, I'm gonna go ahead and put on some lipstick and then fix the hair, and I'll be right back. So I fixed the ponytail, added some lipstick, and we are here at the final look. And as you can see, everything just looks like flawless, and that is because I was very strategic with the products I used on top of this foundation, which is super key for how your makeup is going to look midday and end of day. If you guys found this video very informative, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, click that bell to get notified of when I do upload. I have been trying to upload 2 to 3 times a week. I've been pretty consistent. You know, just depends on my schedule, but I am still trying to stick to 2 to 3 times a week that I upload. But anyways, make sure you stay home, do your part, stay safe, wear a mask, and also remember during this time to spread peace, love, and happiness. I will see you all in my next video.